Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm from Dynamic Boards. We advertise paid, non-executive board roles from across the UK. It's free to sign up and view all the roles, so please do have a look. Today I've got Sarah and Catharine with me from the Gambling Commission. They're seeking a new chair for their board, and so we've recorded this video so that anyone that's interested in the role can hear a bit more about the Gambling Commission and also about what the role entails. Firstly, I'm going to come to you, Sarah. You're the acting joint CEO, and just wanted to get a sense from you of what the work of the Gambling Commission involves.
Well, the Commission licenses and regulates the individuals and businesses that provide gambling in Great Britain, and we also regulate the UK's National Lottery. We're an arm's length body of the Department of Digital, Culture, Media and Sport, and we're charged with the responsibility to permit gambling where it's free from crime, fair and open, and doesn't harm or exploit children or other vulnerable people. As a regulator, we have an important compliance and enforcement function to ensure that the people and organisations we licence are following the law and our regulations. We also undertake research to inform the regulatory framework. And in relation to the National Lottery, we issue the operator licence and we ensure that the lottery is run and promoted with propriety, that consumers are protected and returns to good causes are maximised. We're a team of about 300 people, mostly based in Birmingham, although currently mainly working from home.
Great, thank you, Sarah. And Catharine, I'm going to come to you now. You're a commissioner, that's a member of the board. And I just wondered, how does the board fit into the work that Sarah just described?
Okay, well, the board has a number of different roles. Fundamentally, the board sets the strategy for the commission. Its second key role is to scrutinise and support the executive in delivering that strategy and making sure that public money is used most effectively. We've got a role in ensuring that there's a robust system of governance in place. We've got an ambassadorial role internally and externally, making sure that we deliver the messages about what the Gambling Commission stands for and explaining clearly to the industry and consumers what's really important about our regulation. And fundamentally, the board has a role in terms of the organisational culture. You know, it's really important that we monitor organisational culture and that we address it where we see that it's not optimal. I'll talk a bit more about that later. In terms of our current priorities, Sarah's already touched on the fourth National Lottery licence. Clearly, that's a key focus for us at the moment as the competition runs through, as will be ensuring the successful transition from the third licence to the fourth licence. Second thing I'd say is that we've always got a really strong focus on operator standards and reducing gambling-related harms. And thirdly, it's really important to us that we manage a successful implementation of whatever comes out of the current government review of the Gambling Act. The board itself meets formally 8 or so times a year, but all the commissioners are highly engaged in other ways. We all sit on a variety of the board's subcommittees. A number of us sit on regulatory panels, and all of us have contact and engagement with stakeholders externally and internally. There are currently 9 commissioners, including the chair, from a wide range of professional backgrounds, including consumer protection, law enforcement, international finance. That said, we have a strong commitment, as I know the department does, to increasing and refreshing board diversity at all opportunities, partly because we genuinely believe that having an organisation and a board which reflects the diversity of the people that it serves is simply the right thing to do, but partly because there's so much evidence amassing now about increasing diversity across organisations and across boards, promoting the greatest successful delivery of their objectives.
That's brilliant. We would totally agree with that, Catherine, at Dynamic Boards. That's what we're all about, is trying to help a better mix of people consider board roles. So we're just going to touch now on the skills and experience that you're looking for from this chair. And we'll come to you first, Sarah. What skills does this person need to succeed in the role?
So we're looking for someone with a strong strategic vision to inspire the organisation and set the direction for the industry we regulate. I also think the ability to build and maintain robust relationships with a wide range of stakeholders is so important, including stakeholders in the commercial and political environments. And finally, I'd just highlight someone who can help us to build the financial sustainability of the organisation as we continue to work with the government through the Gambling Act review on the future powers, resources and funding model for the organisation.
Thank you, Sarah. So Catherine, just touching on the sort of behaviours and experiences that this person will need for the role. I know it's very high profile. Do you want to touch on that?
You're right that it is high profile. You know, gambling is an emotive issue, and we need a leader who can keep a variety of balls in balance in a very sensitive environment. It's really important that the incoming chair recognises that for the vast majority of consumers, gambling is an important and enjoyable leisure pursuit. It's really important that they keep in mind that for thousands of individuals who work in the industry, what the gambling regulator does is really important. But it's fundamentally important that we also keep in mind that small but significant minority of individuals who either have experienced, are experiencing, or are at risk of experiencing significant gambling harms. And we need a chair who keeps all of those in mind and makes sure that as a regulator, we are fair and responsible and effective in all those realms. So skillful ambassador, I would say, ranks high. In terms of the organisation, I think that we need a leader who can inspire and support the executive and our entire workforce through the challenges of COVID-19, through the Gambling Act review, through our responses to the recommendations of the House of Lords report, the PAC report, the NAO report. And all of those have the capacity to be quite destabilising. So it's important that any incoming chair recognises that her role, his role, is critical in bringing a really clear sense of collaboration with the executive and with the commissioners to restore stability, calm, and a clear vision despite all those challenges. In terms of the board, what I'd say is that clearly it's important that the incoming chair inspires all the commissioners to do of their best to serve the commission. But I think it's also important that the incoming chair is unafraid to encourage real innovation. I don't mean change for change's sake. What I mean is an incoming chair should feel unafraid to encourage us to ask, and indeed ask herself or himself, why is it that we do certain things the way we do? And is there a way that we could do them better? That should not be something that we shy away from. In fact, in my view, it should be something that we actively pursue. I think something else that's necessary is a real intellectual curiosity and agility. So inevitably, what comes out of the Gambling Act review will necessitate some changes in the regulatory regime, some changes in the nature of the industry, some changes in what products are available to consumers, inevitably. And I think it's really important that the incoming chair feels confident about being able to lead the shape of future regulation in the light of what comes out of that review. And the last thing that I'd say, it's last but by no means least, we have a very strong, clearly defined, agreed set of ways of working at the Commission. I think it's really important that the incoming chair feels comfortable with those ways of working, and in particular feels as passionately as we do about the way of working that talks about reaching for improvement. I think that there is always a capacity and a need to think about doing things better. And I'm sure that an incoming chair will see that there is more potential there and something that they can support us all with. In the last 6 months at the Commission, we've established and are driving through a really exciting organisational improvement project called Reset. And part of the determination in Reset is to build a consistent culture of a determination to continuously improve. So it's really important that we get staff buy-in, and we're doing a good job there to Reset, but it's equally important that the chair with the executive shows strong, committed leadership to that project.
Thank you, Catherine. That's really helpful. I think we don't talk about culture enough often, so it's really helpful that actually you've just really shone a light on the need to be a leader in the sphere of culture as well. Catherine, you mentioned it earlier, but diversity and inclusion, we know that that's been on the agenda at the Gambling Commission for some time, and just wondered how the chair coming in can build on this.
Well, I'm committed, as I know the department is, to finding the absolute best person for this job. And I can promise anybody watching this video that we have no preconception at all about what the background of that individual should be. We're looking fundamentally for the kind of skills and experience that Sarah's talked about and I've talked about, and those can emerge and be demonstrated from a wide variety of different backgrounds. So that's the most important thing to say about anybody who's not sure whether they have the right kind of background to apply. But once they're in post, I think that it's going to be really important that that individual sees eye to eye with the ambition that we've got through the Reset project to show optimal commitment to EDI within our organisation, and you know, as I said before, properly to reflect the communities that we serve.
Thank you, Catherine. Sarah, coming back to you, do you want to touch on, sort of wrapping us up, what makes this a fantastic opportunity?
Well, you know, this is such a pivotal time in gambling regulation. We've already spoken about the government's review of the Gambling Act, which is going on. We've got the competition for the fourth national lottery licence in full flow. This is an absolutely great time to be involved in really key public policy decisions that will affect us all, probably for at least the next decade. You'll also be leading a brilliant team of people at a point of organisational change, as Catherine has described. So come and help us shape a post-COVID organisation, and of course, help us to recruit a chief executive to take the organisation forward.
Thank you, Sarah. And Catherine, anything you'd like to add? Closing words for anyone considering this chair role?
Really endorse everything that Sarah's just said. I think fundamentally for me, this job, the chair of the Gambling Commission, it really matters. You know, it really matters to the majority of consumers for whom this is a leisure activity that they really enjoy. It really matters to the fabulous work done by the Returns to Good Causes from the National Lottery in sport, arts, heritage, education, environment, health, all the charitable causes. It really matters to the people who work in the industry, and it really, really matters to that small minority who have been harmed by gambling, are at risk of being harmed by gambling. So what we do on all those fronts really, really matters. The second thing I'd say is that we are regulating a very, very broad, fast-moving industry. It's a real challenge to keep up with how fast-moving that industry is, but it makes it fascinating exciting, really intellectually stretching. So I think that it's a fabulous opportunity for somebody who has an appetite for all that. And the third thing I'd say, saving Sarah's blushes, is that we do have a really talented workforce, but we have a particularly bright, experienced and talented executive team, and a equally strong, committed board. So I think there's a real opportunity here for a leader to harness the best in both and to make the future for the Commission, for the industry, for consumers, really bright and really successful.
Thank you very much, Catherine, and thank you, Sarah. We talk to so many people that say they're looking for roles that have social impact and purpose, but also commercial roles. And this just feels like a total matching of both of those. I love you talking about how fast-paced this industry is as well. Definitely a role to keep you on your toes too. So lastly, we've got Lucinda from the Department of Digital Media, Culture and Sport to tell us a bit about the application process. Lucinda, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. So it's a very straightforward application process. All we need from you is a CV of up to 2 sides of A4, and then just a supporting statement. And that can be up to 3 pages. And here you can outline with examples exactly how you meet the essential criteria. And then there's just 2 additional forms, a conflict of interest and a diversity monitoring form. You have until the 19th of April to submit your application, and interviews will be held on the 21st of June. But if you do have any problems with your application, or indeed any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with the public appointments team at DCMS, and our email address is publicappointments@dcms.gov.uk. I think all that remains to be said is to thank you so much to Sarah and to Catherine, and yeah, to really echo Catherine when I say whether this is your first application for a public appointment or your 15th, please do apply. And all that remains, yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and best of luck.
Yes, good luck to anyone who's applying for the role.